She has served as president of both the Cordova Community Council and the Rancho Cordova Chamber of Commerce during the long march towards cityhood. As mayor, she's been a generous and welcoming figure to anyone wishing to visit. If there is one person in our city who needs no introduction, it would be our mayor. Before, during, and after incorporation, she has seen it all and she has done it all. So without further ado, please welcome your mayor, the remarkable Linda Budge.
Well, I must say, it's hard to follow that. Good evening, Rancho Cordova. Good evening. And good evening to all of our wonderful guests. My goodness. From former legislators to the school district, the park district, everybody in between, our representatives of Congress, on every conceivable board and commission. Thank you all so much for being here. This has been an amazing year. We know that. You've seen it. This is terrific. You've lived it. This is terrific. So we have celebrated the million dreams that represent some of the hopes and aspirations that we all had when we began this adventure to become 20 years of cityhood. Tonight, we're just going to wrap up this year. And for those of us who remember when presents really came in packages wrapped up instead of stuffed in a bag, we are going to talk about this tonight, and the only thing left will be when we put the bow on when we come to the Christmas tree lighting in a couple of weeks. Tonight is really a 20-year review of the state of the city. We're going to look briefly at the influences that shaped this Rancho Cordova that voted overwhelmingly to incorporate. And then we'll talk about this thriving place that we've become. And finally, we'll look at a couple of things that are rapidly approaching and may dominate a lot of conversation in the future. And frankly, it is my hope that a lot of what I say tonight is not new to those of you who live in Rancho Cordova, because you are living this already. For those who've been through Rancho Cordova leadership, or the students who participated in Kids at City Hall and Summer at City Hall, you know the history of the precursor of modern day Rancho Cordova. From our roots as a stopover way onto the gold fields, the physical impact locally of attempts of miners to make their fortunes, and the fact that many gave up and came back down to the valley because they didn't like either the lifestyle or they found digging for gold really hard. So they came back down to do what they had done in their home state or their home country. And they became the merchants and the farmers and initiated some of the organizations that they were used to at home. They founded the Grange and the Kilgore Cemetery. They planted walnuts, pears, apples, plums, and grapes. Wines from the Cordova Vineyard were served at Teddy Roosevelt's White House dinner tables. You've heard about the evolution of transportation in these parts, from the Macadam Road out to Folsom, the Pony Express route that went from Brighton to Detterdings out by Costco, to Mormon Island and over the mountains to St. Joseph, Missouri. One of the presidents of the Pony Express Association is a longtime resident of Rancho Cordova. The Pony Express was put out of business by the advent of stage lines looking west after the railroads pretty much put them out of business on the East Coast, and soon all manner of conveyances were expressing people and gold throughout the area. But they too were finally rendered obsolete by the railroads and that newfangled automobile. So fast forward to the 1940s. California was experiencing a drought. Imagine that. Wine was not a popular drink. And the state legislature had developed a bad habit of raising property taxes to what they considered the highest and best use, regardless of what an acre of land might be earning. Property owners, like Roland Fettersfield, looked around and determined that they were no longer making a living growing grapes. But Roland knew he could build homes for all the young people coming home from World War II who no longer wanted to live in a big city apartment. He put together the Rancho Cordova Corporation, consisting of himself, contractor John Jacobson, and realtor Glenn Ahlstrom. And the rest is truly history. The first homes began over here at the intersection of Folsom and Zinfandel. The model homes were those on Muscat Court, and all the original streets were named for wine grapes. And oh, by the way, Stone Creek, I know you're here. Elliott Holmes was courteous enough to name all those streets in Stone Creek for wineries around the world, carrying on the tradition. Rancho Cordova Elementary was the first school. Many of the first residents were the principals and the pastors, the merchants who ran grocery stores, clothing stores, Hallmark, Baskin-Robbins, and so on. I know a lot of you who've been here a long time remember that. They were the doctors, the insurance brokers, and the gas station owners, and they started local organizations like Rotary, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Cordova Community Council. And every little town needs a new newspaper, so the Grapevine came into being. Two other important groups of people came to live in early Rancho Cordova. The United States was coming out of World War II and quickly entering the Cold War. Mather Air Force Base had limited housing, and the majority of the people stationed at Mather were living here in Rancho Cordova in those new homes. And then, of course, President Kennedy committed to the goal of reaching the moon by 1969. Having come to the Dredger tailings in 1951, many of the 25,000 Aerojet employees came to live here in those new Rancho Cordova homes. Today, we have become a great place to live. We have grown our little town of 20,000 households and 55,000 people, remember George? Into an ever-expanding city of about 31,000 homes and 81,117 residents. That's a 47% growth rate. We truly have a house for every lifestyle. From quiet tree-lined streets along the American River Parkway to our expanding neighborhoods filled with young children and their families all growing up together. Our neighborhoods are home to people who speak over 90 languages and have brought a cultural diversity that enriches the experience of living in Rancho Cordova. But Rancho Cordova is also a great place to live because we focus on public safety. Rancho Cordova has, the RCPD, our police department in the back, has concentrated on becoming an urban police force, even though we continue to kind of contract with the county sheriff. We take advantages of the services that the police department provides us, high-tech task force, SWAT, K-9 units, and so on. But we also use things like spot shutter technology, our enhanced homeless outreach team, a unit called FOZ that patrols the Folsom, Olson, and Zinfandel Island. We have crime suppression. We have our award-winning team of motor officers, and so on. We've even had a holiday-focused anti-panhandling team. And these dedicated people have worked on our behalf 24/7. Over the years, our crime rate has decreased. From 2009 to 2023, the twin line is down 11%. And that's in personal and property crimes. But just like a military, it's always hard to see somebody transfer or retire. But we want to wish our police chief, Brandon Luke, a very happy retirement as we welcome our new police chief, Matt Tamayo. Matt is here. The third influence on being a great place to live is the incredible work that our Public Works Department has contributed over the years. They've actually won, I mean, this is Public Works, okay? But they've really won at least 8 awards over the years for quality and creativity of their work, including a storm drain outfall into the American River. I mean, that may not sound very inspirational to most of us, but in the Public Works Department, that was very inspirational. An ongoing focus has been safe routes to schools. It's a major motivator in beginning the multi-year, multi-phase project to completely transform Folsom Boulevard from a 5-lane swath of concrete old highway lined with 240 billboards to a beautiful tree-lined thoroughfare for vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. It's officially a segment of the Lincoln Highway, and it includes the first sidewalks on the south side of Folsom Boulevard since the Sacramento Valley Railroad was built in the 1850s. And I say that because you go to Washington, D.C. to ask for money, and you tell these people that, and their eyes get very big, and they say, "Oh, really?" Safe Routes to Schools includes installing the first ever sidewalks, as I said, but they've created connections to help people move from place to place around town. So we've installed sidewalks around elementary schools, like Rancho Cordova Elementary. And we've built sidewalks on Zinfandel where there were never sidewalks before, because a lot of the houses in Rancho Cordova were built before sidewalks were actually required in town. And they've made connections like extending International over the Folsom South Canal and connecting Zinfandel to Douglas. Those things help to minimize traffic jams and the distance that we all have to travel to get to somewhere. So we want to thank Albert and his Public Works team who are here tonight. Over the years, Rancho Cordova has become a great place to work. Even as one of the 3 regional employment centers, we have experienced the same workforce challenges as everyone else over the last 4 years. But we have not experienced a significant net loss of jobs. In partnership with the Rancho Cordova Chamber of Commerce, we maintain a small business climate that encourages people to believe in their abilities and entrepreneurship. Thank you, Diane. Typical of the diversity of Rancho Cordova, many of our small business people are people who have opened to provide an insight into the food and drink, goods and services that they experience in their own culture. And yes, we've lost some organizations. Progressive comes to mind, and E-Trade. Kurt will remember, E-Trade began here, across the street, but they decided they were too big for the region, and they moved to the Bay Area. And I'm not sure whether they exist anymore, or whether they got bought, or whatever, but thanks again to our active Economic Development Department, who continues to backfill empty spaces with very large organizations like UC Davis Health across the street and Solidigm down the road. So thank you to Amanda and all of her team. as our school districts will tell you, Rancho Cordova is a great place to learn. Thank you to all in this room who approved our community enhancement and investment funds. All Rancho Cordova elementary students have access to art and music, gardening, STEM-related education, Siri, and Garrett, sports, field trips to places like Splash and the FEA Nature Center to learn about the natural world around us. The 3 high schools that our students in Sac City Unified and Folsom Cordova Unified attend to provide a wide variety of experiences from the International Baccalaureate to Montessori-based arts education to trade skills. Our students in the Elk Grove School District also have access to a wide variety of high-quality programs. All of our local graduates are able to take advantage of the Promise program, which provides scholarships for the local campus of Folsom Lake Community College and beyond. And for our residents who want to upskill, learn a new skill, or enter a new profession, we have 15 post-secondary and vocational schools that offer a wide variety of programs, including nursing, law enforcement, office skills, and many different construction trades. In fact, the Rancho Cordova Police Activities League has partnered with one of the trades unions to provide high school students for a life after high school. I went to their graduation, and they've got their second cohort going now. But these are kids who all get hands-on experience in every manner of construction tools, from hammers and saws and screwdrivers and things that most of us take for granted, to really not some big equipment, but even things like jackhammers and whatnot. And they are set up for an entry into the construction trades if that's where they want to go after high school. But we also have some very unique opportunities for learning. The MAC comes to mind, where they have a class almost every Saturday. You just bring yourself. Most everything is free, and they provide necessary materials. And guys, if you're not, you should be getting the newsletter from Salt Barn Farm. They teach all manner of gardening, food preserving, and even teach you about the flora and fauna of the American River Parkway. You can join a bird walk on Saturday mornings. And while we're talking about learning, let's brag. Okay, one of them's here tonight. Among our current noteworthy Cordova grads, we have our County Sheriff, Jim Cooper, the City of Sacramento Police Chief, Kathy Lester, and our very own Rancho Fire Chief, Adam House. So it's no surprise, Rancho Cordova is a great place to play. Nowhere else will you find an organization devoted to having fun. That's what the Community Council does for us. And we have more fun than anywhere else. So, raise hands. Who attended or participated in the International Festival, the iFest? Great. Who went to Kids' Day in the Park? Thank you. Who enjoyed a movie or a concert at Village Green Park in June and July? Who saw a play? Who was at the 4th of July? Who went to the air show? Okay, so full disclosure. We have to thank the California Capitol Air Show, Darcy and Angela and their group, but the Community Council provided a lot of those volunteers who got their pants get on at Stomper's Haunted House. Oh, what a lot of very normal, well-intended people we have out here. Scaredy cats, Shelby says. Who will be at the Christmas tree lighting at the end of this month? Wonderful. And okay, who has had fun celebrating our 20th birthday this year. But that's not all. The Rancho Cordova Athletic Association falls under the Cordova Community Council umbrella. And this year's group of awardees was the equal of any other year's awardees, and I know there's some people here tonight who got awards. The various youth groups that belong are committed to providing a quality training and teaching experience for all of our kids. The beautiful new girls softball complex brought together the school district, the city, and the 60-year-old girls softball to create an unparalleled facility for the next 60 years of girls who want to play. And the Community Council is the birthplace of arts in Rancho Cordova. Who knew? We had enough musicians to put together the Symphony de Oro and the River City Concert Band. Cordova Community Council found them, and you can join the symphony on November the 18th for another inspiring concert at the Performing Arts Center. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that the concert band is playing at the Saturday the 3rd and the 10th, I think it is, of November at Coriana. Guys, nobody else has music in the grocery store. And there's probably a flyer out front to tell you about that. Performing art? We now have 3 theater companies offering performances from the light-hearted Midsummer Night's Dream to the serious The Crucible. Visual art. If you have not yet been to the MAC, why? Cheryl has brought the most amazing range of visual art, historic art, special collections, inspirational exhibits, traveling exhibits, and how-to classes. It's truly unimaginable. Coming soon is a show made up of mother-lode artists, and that may not sound like local, but I have to tell you, one of my prize groups of art is by a gentleman named George Mathis. He started off painting rockets for Aerojet, and then he retired to Coloma, to a place called Friday House, to paint anything and everything that has to do with the gold rush. So you really need to go see the mother-lode artists at the MAC. And speaking of favorite pieces of art, don't we all have a favorite utility box somewhere in town? So thank you to Shelley and to Cheryl, I think it's the back of the room, and their community council team. So finally, let's talk about the future for a minute. People who've known me for a long time know that I pretty much have a file for everything current. This file is called office conversion. So, frankly, if we end up with empty spaces that seem to be going nowhere, we're going to need to plan a realistic and technical discussion of reuse. But here's what we know is coming. We have spent months finally remodeling Mather Field Road. It took the cooperation of Caltrans, but it's finally underway. And the Fiber City project, if it has not yet come to your neighborhood, is going to continue to install broadband capability throughout the city. Rancho Cordova has been awarded nearly $20 million for the construction of what will be an iconic Zinfandel bicycle and pedestrian crossing. It will be both a travelway and a beautiful destination that visually depicts the history of Rancho Cordova and celebrates our artistic roots. We expect design to be complete next year. Many of you, and then many of you, have always also participated in the workshops to bring the Mills Crossing to fruition. It's far from complete, but we're close to seeing some building designs. This city, we are so blessed. We have so much to celebrate. We have a city staff that is second to none. We've been blessed with 3 city managers who have been talented, creative individuals. Each has brought their own strengths, but all have accomplished the same thing. They have continued to assemble a city staff that truly cares about and works for the residents they serve. We've needed to grow to continue to provide the same high quality of service that you all expect and that we all want to provide. But we're still an economical organization devoid of bureaucratic weight. The organization is lean and nimble. We are problem solving. The number one goal is to always resolve issues and to educate. So let's thank our city manager, Michael Runner, and his team who work on it. We also need to pat ourselves collectively. Okay, so all of you reach in front or reach behind and pat somebody in the back. We need to pat ourselves on the back collectively. This is a city that's only 20 years old. I had classmates at Harvard from Ireland whose cities were like 300 and 400 and 500 years old who said to me, how does one go out and start a city? But we have a remarkable record. We've been an all-America city twice now, in 2010 and 2019. We are a Tree City USA, a Playful City USA, and a bicycle-friendly city. And as I said, 8 different public works projects have been award-winning. Our communications team has won several awards, including for the book that you are getting tonight. And sort of along the lines of public works, even the finance department has won awards. And I hope it's no secret that our colleague David Sander is about to be sworn in as the president of the National League of Cities this month. David is traveling that night for this very reason. What a testament to his hard work and an honor for him. And what a coup for Rancho Cordova. So that's the state of the Rancho Cordova as we come to the end of this 20 years of celebration of cityhood. It's been an amazing adventure, and congratulations. And thank you to everyone who's made it happen and continued to participate this last 2 decades. For those of you who are new to Rancho Cordova, welcome. And as you can tell, we have an opportunity for all of you to be involved. But none of this has been possible without the participation of pretty much everyone in this room tonight. We began this journey, as Shelley said, with 1 million dreams. There's still 1 million more out there. Don't stop dreaming, Rancho Cordova. Thank you all.
There she goes, our mayor.